Hey, shalom, shalom. Alright. Pray the sound is good. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, Sham Kakwadash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah is the Father's true name. That means He is, He exists. Yahawashi is the Son's true name. That means He saves, He delivers, He is salvation. And Rika Kodash is how you say a spirit that's holy, a spirit that's set apart in the Lashwan Kodash, right? The holy language, the holy tongue, or also known as the ancient Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew. Right? Second of all, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone, also known as GMS. Shalom, shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect. It's your brother Yerami Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah Shem, Yahawashi, Shem, Kakadash. This lesson will be entitled Uncommon, an uncommon life bears uncommon costs. Right? So an uncommon life bears an uncommon cost, something along that nature. Alright, you know what I'm saying? And this life that we live is what? It's uncommon. Our nation in general is a peculiar nation. We're set apart people. Okay? So just being an Israelite, you know, we're far different. Okay? Now let's go to Exodus 19:1. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto Yahawah, and Yahawah called upon him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. Now, these commandments, these words are meant to be who? Towards the house of Jacob, towards the children of Israel. Okay? So, this is who it pertains to. This is the ownership. Alright? Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Right? So you're going to be a peculiar treasure, a special group of individuals, a special nation, peculiar. Right? Peculiar could mean special, right? Strange. You know, it's strange in their eyes, but not in our eyes. Okay? Our customs and cultures are that of a different nature than the rest of the world. And that's how you're designed to be. You know, you think back to as a kid, you know, hopefully, you know, your parents would send you with some flavor, where you're not wearing everything everybody else has. We used to think, man, before school, we looking for some new shoes. We ain't looking for, everybody want the Nikes or the whatever. We trying to bring something back, you know, like the Filas or Pro Kids or just something different. You trying to come with something peculiar, something strange. Now that's how we are as a nation. We bear the salt, right? So we come with something different, right? But what we come with is the righteous sense, the correct way and the proper standard to live by, right? How you should truly carry yourself, which is these laws, commandments, and statutes. Okay? So, reading it again, and let's start at 3 again. And Moses went up unto Yahawah, and Yahawah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. Once again, that's who it pertains to. He's not talking to the entire world. He's not talking to the entire world. Now, for any individual saying that the Most High is dealing with the whole world now, well, he never changes. So if he wanted to address the world back then, he would have addressed them. He would have gave them the laws, commandments, and statutes back then. This is an understanding that does not need any corrections, any edits. You can't edit what the Most High has ordained and brought forth. Right? Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey, who is ye? Once again, the Israelites. If ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So in the beginning, he designed the Israelites to be above all people. Right? He set them up to be a peculiar nation that will be above the rest of the nations. Okay, so we're not in the pot with these heathens. Our mistake many of times is where we've tried to be in the pot with these heathens, and that's our mistake right now. You know, you see Jake trying to fit in with these heathens and take on the customs and cultures of these heathens. Yesterday was Mother's Day, you know, and that's a heathen paganistic custom. You can look it up. Stemming from this lady that basically, you know, well, that was later on. She wanted to, you know, I guess support her mother or whatever. And then it really goes back furthermore, you know, to ancient cultures, that did these false god worships, that Queen of Heaven spirit. Okay, so the point being is that it's paganistic. It's not in the Bible. It's not correct. We're supposed to honor thy mother and father. Yeah. When? Not just on one particular day. The only day you honor your mother is yesterday? And you a terrible ass individual. You know? So you honor thy mother and father whenever you see them, whenever you're in the presence of them. You show them respect. You show them love. You show them honor. Okay? At the end of the day. You don't just do it on one particular day. Okay? So that's paganistic. So we're set apart from that. But the point being, why I brought that out is because I walked in State of Brothers yesterday, and you know, at a regular time, whatever, going there, just I was trying to grab something, some kind of drink or whatever, but it was too packed. It's too many people in there buying. They had all the flowers out and the chocolates and all this type of stuff. They're doing this late day shopping for their mother, you know, and I'm like, nah, I'm up out of here. So I left, man, you know, because during these hell days, the heathens and Jake, that's wicked, 2/3, that celebrate these things, they flood the commerce areas. They flood the Walmart. They flood State of Brothers. They use people of all different. You know, they all out here shopping and buying up because they're worshiping these false gods. Okay? At the end of the day, they're worshiping these false gods. All right, now verse 5 again. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. All right, so the Israelites are going to be set above all people. All right, let me handle this comment board real quick. Get these individuals up out of here. Bots. All right, so keeping it going. Verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. Holy, once again, peculiar, set apart. So our ways are different. Kodash, as we stated earlier. Our ways are different than the heathens. Our ways are different than the Edomites. Our ways are different than these other nations. So even when you're amongst these nations, let's say you live in Asia, you live in Europe, you live in Africa, you don't take on their practices because you're not of them. You're not of their soil. You're not of their flock. You know, you belong to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi. So you keep your practices. So wherever we go, we are Israel. Okay? Now, there's been plenty of times where our people have been called heathens, Gentiles. You know, you took on the practices of these other individuals, these other nations. And like I said, that's when we go off. Our own King Solomon went and worshipped false gods. All right? And took on these ways and these practices of these other nations. But we were meant to be what? And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which Yahawah commanded him. So showing you back then, you had a certain order. You had elders set up that were going to help Moses lead and guide these people. We have the same thing today. Okay? The elders set up elders, right? So you have that order that's set up. Now these other heathens, they don't have that. They have what? They have a king. They have one president, you know, whatever you want to call it, right? And they may have a council, which is the Congress or Parliament or whatever, okay, to rule over and decide matters. Now, another time when we went off is when we wanted a king. when we got Saul. And how did that turn out? You know, hey, Yahawah had Samuel tell us he's going to take the best of your land, he's going to take the best of your flock, he's going to take the best of your food, he's going to take the best of everything. But the plan, going back to Exodus 19, was for us all to be kings and priests. That was the plan, not for us just to have, you know, one king and just ruling over us in that sense. Okay? Other than, you know, Yahawashi, of course, right? And King David, which will be our king, is our king now. So we had to go through thinking like the heathens, desiring what they have, when we was what? We were judges. You know, we would have a judge, and we would, you know, it was a better sense of independence, right? Which we're going back to, because dominion is about to be given, and we're gonna be kings and priests how it was designed, right? So the ways of the heathens, they're folly, man. That's not the proper standard that we were set up to be in. So verse 8, and all the people answered together and said, all that Yahawah hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahawah. And Yahawah said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto Yahawah. And Yahawah said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day for the third day. You know, I'll end it right there and going back into the topic. But the point being is the standard was given for us to live by. And right now, our people are not carrying it. Now, who is keeping it and carrying it? Okay? The remnant, the elect, the hopeful elect. The ones that's turning back, thinking upon the name, and seeking Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi in these days, man. Okay? Let's go to 1 Peter 4 and 12. And the caption reads, share the sufferings of Hamashiach. Going back to the point of the lesson is, an uncommon life comes with uncommon costs. So we foundated it with, we're peculiar, we're special, we're strange, we're uncommon, we're not the same as these individuals, we're unique, you know. Verse 12, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you as though some strange thing happened unto you. This is uncommon, that fiery trial. What you're going through is uncommon, okay? You know, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You know, you're living correctly, living properly, but you're still going to go through hell, because our standard is harder than their standard. We see the heathens living it up. They got this, they got that, they got all of this. Man, it was this heathen, I was talking about Rib, man, it was this heathen at their job, and these individuals are spending like $600 a month on baseball for their kid. I'm like, damn, you know, these Babylonians got money, like just to put it on like that for travel ball, and they traveling here and there, with their kid playing baseball all over the country. These heathens have the ability to do that. That's showing you they ain't in a position of rest. You know, Jay can't do that, man. Okay? We don't have the privilege, we don't have the money, we don't got the resources to do that. So you see these heathens, they living wickedly, they living however they, you know, they don't care, all right? Because they don't have the standard, they don't understand. But they get to enjoy it because this is their time to rule, this is their kingdom, you know? So we get to see all that. And our way is what? It's peculiar. We're living correctly and properly, but we're going through much hell and we're being refined. But it's better that way, okay? It's better that way. It's better to go through the long road, which is bumpy and hard and rough and tough, than to go through the short one, because the process is where you're really built and molded into that individual, okay? Anybody could go from point A to point B, but it's what happened in between that, you know, really makes you who you are. Right? Verse 13. But rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of a Mashiach suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. So we rejoice in the sufferings. Sirach 2 and 4. You know, let's go over there. We rejoice in what we're going through. An uncommon life is full of uncommon costs. This is Sirach 2:1 starting at the top, right? My son, if thou come to serve Yahawah, by Sham Yahawashi, prepare thy soul for temptation. So before you're coming into this thing, this is what you're told first, man. Count the cost. Okay? Yahawashi told him, you want to sip this cup? You sure? Alright, you indeed will sip this cup. Okay? You're going to drink from this cup. Alright? Count the cost. That's what he was relaying to them. Count the cost. Because the cost he had to pay in his life. With his life. And then all the rest of the apostles had to pay with their lives and much suffering. You know, prison, pain, torture, etc., etc. Okay? This ain't no life where you get that white picket fence and get to have a family and, you know, drive off in the sunset or something. This ain't that. Alright? Now, do we have families and things of that nature? Yeah. Okay, but what is prioritized above the family life? Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. What is prioritized above sports and media and entertainment and going to see your favorite artists perform at a concert? Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. Okay? What's prioritized? But, you know, you want to, hey, the Lakers are playing, right? You want to buy a ticket and go to the game? Nah. Hey, you could. You know, you got the time to, you got the resources to do, but you got to make sure that Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, that priority is there first. Do we do things out? Yeah, we do pleasure things, okay? But we're not caught up in the myrrh as this world is caught up, okay? So it's going back to us, and that standard is balancing you, because they're caught up in it all, or they're emotional, they're caught up in it, they're letting these demons run them. You know, you see an individual, they team lose, they crying for a whole week, they mad and they sad, and you know, you got that one dude when the Dodgers won or whatever, he jumped off the building or some shit. You know, they're too caught up in this stuff. They're too attached. They're too trusting, right, into this wicked kingdom. Verse 2, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. You got to gird up your loins as a man and walk in that way, which you already know the way is going to be hard. You already know the way is going to be tough. An uncommon life brings uncommon costs. So you already know it's about to hit you left and right, front, back, up and down, etc., etc. Okay? You're going to get thrown left and right. Hey, the boat, when Yahawashi was on the boat with the apostles, and what? He told them, you a little faith. You got to build up your faith and go through that storm and suffer it all, man. And trust. All right? It's not going to be a nice little cruise. It's going to be rocky. Okay? It's going to be hard. It's going to be intense. It's going to be, you know, unpleasureful. It ain't going to be pleasure. We're not here for pleasure, man. We got to take the pain, right? But what is pain? Hey, I got a shirt one time as a kid. Pain is weakness leaving the body, right? So that's what it is. The refinement is not pleasurable. It's painful. You're feeling that fire, right? That spiritual fire. You're feeling this chastisement. You're feeling those whips. You're feeling all of that. But you're what? You're standing back up. You're getting back up. You're walking forth. And you're taking those lessons that you went through and you took, and you're building upon your life, and you're living with more fear and with more wisdom. Okay? Verse 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Because what? You work out, you want to go, you know, let's say you're doing push-ups. You want to do it to muscle failure. Well, you can't do it no more. You know, do it to muscle failure. All right? And then you rest, and then you do it some more. Right? That's how you truly build the muscle to the best of your ability. Right? So at that last end, because what's going to happen afterwards, it's going to be built up. You're going to see the muscles begin to show up. Week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, a month later, you're going to see all that work begin to show up. So we don't look at the short term. We got long term. We're heavy long term about it. You got people talk about investing, Wall Street and all that. We're definitely investing. We're building up treasures upon heaven, man. This gold, this understanding, this truth. So we're investing. What do we have? What's something everybody has? Time. We're investing our time. We're investing effort. We're putting it in where it needs to go. We're not wasting it. All right? We're not BSing the day away. Verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. This suffering, you take it cheerfully. You got to go through it. Right? Now, I just stated it's painful, but having this blueprint, we know this is how the building has to be built. This is how that third temple is built. Through much pain, through much tribulation. Right? Let's go back to Peter. Verse 14, 1 Peter 4. If ye be reproached for the name of Hamashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of power resteth. Okay? So, if you are reproached for the name of Hamashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of power resteth. And that does not mean you're getting arrested or nothing like that because you was out preaching and the cops told you to stop. No, that's not wisdom. Okay? You got a Romans 13. Okay? If they tell you to stop, etc., you know, hey, wrap it up, man. You know? We're not going out the way. That's foolishness. And that's what a lot of these you see Wi-Fi do it a lot. Okay? Or whoever it be, man. You going out your way to get in trouble. That's stupid. Okay? The apostles didn't do that. It's because individuals may not have a real life sense. They don't have reality. They're not grounded. They're not down to earth. This is not a game. This is not something you do just to say you got clout. Oh, yeah, I got, you know. What's the point of that? No. All right? When these sufferings and these persecutions and these things come, they're going to hit. They're going to be hard. This ain't something that, you know. So, it's all through the spirit and power of Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi. And then you trust in Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi to give you words where nobody can gainsay so you can get through. You use wisdom at all times, man. All right? You're not just going out your way to get in trouble. We're what? Hey, they pass a law saying that we can't preach. We in the crib with it. That's wisdom. But you got individuals, I know you're going to have individuals out there still trying to preach, still trying to teach, but it's a law out saying that you can't preach and read the Bible, okay? Well, you know, we got to go against Esau and his system, man. You know, fuck this matrix. And yeah, your ass is stupid, man, okay? This ain't for us to go and knock down. We got to wait on the king. So we have to abide in this prison for as long as we are here, all right? We have to, hey, chill and gird our loins, as it says, set your mind all right, and take on the chastisement and then the stuff that we got to do. That's why you got to endure until the end, okay? This ain't about fighting this government cornerly, man. All right, 14 again. If you be reproached for the name of Hamashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of power resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. And that comes in many different forms as well. That comes in family talking about you. That comes in women, you know, oh, you a Hebrew Israelite, I ain't being with you, or, you know, all this different type of stuff. Because going back to what? You're peculiar. You're strange. You're different. You're unique. You're set apart. You're Kodash. You're holy. All right? So it's like a repellent to bullshit. That's what this truth is when it's shining upon you. It's a repellent to BS in the world. It's gonna repel worldly people from you. You know? I ain't going over there. We ain't going around. That brother, he don't eat no pork, so we ain't even going over there. You know, et cetera, et cetera. Like, whatever. You know, so, hey, allow this truth to be that, man. Allow this truth to be that. Because it's righteousness. And if anybody has a problem with righteousness, then they got a problem with Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi. You know, that's what it is. It ain't you. It's they hate the Lord at the end of the day. Verse 15, but let none of you suffer as a murderer or as a thief or as an evildoer, as a busybody in other men's matters. We stand out the way. We minding our business. Okay? We not, hey, you rebuke, you correct. These people doing that, you know they do that, leave them alone. Let them do that. Let the will of the Lord run his place, run his course. Hey, Yahawah puts a spirit of delusion, right, deep sleep on individuals for a particular reason. You can't fight against that. If you're trying to fight against that, then you're fighting against him, and it's not going to work. So you can't hit at a brick wall. You hit at it enough, you're going to break your hand. You know? So you got to let things run. It don't matter how much you love somebody. This goes back to you not being too attached to individuals. You know? Emotions is what? You let emotions run their course so much, emotions turn to demons. And they got you doing things that you don't supposed to do. Right? Anger is good, but anger can be a demon. That's why the scripture talks about don't let the sun go down on your anger. You don't allow it to rule your mindset. You don't allow it to rule your body. Love is good, but love could become a demon. Right? You may love your woman and your kids, but you're not attached to them to the point of where you're choosing them over Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. So everything goes back to being balanced. You got to have a balance in everything. All right? Verse 16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify power on this behalf. Okay? And furthermore, we was called what? Christians in what? Antioch. All right? It's an insult. You know, we're not really, that whole Christianity thing was brought with Constantine around, what's that, 300 and so AD. Okay? He integrated it with Roman customs, Greek customs. Okay? That's why you got Christmas. That's why you got Easter. It aligns and it falls around their wicked customs, their wicked practices. Okay? So you don't want to be you're not a Christian, man. You're a Hebrew Israelite. That's what the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are. Okay? But in this sense also, if they would call you a Hamashiatum, you follow Yahawashi, yeah, we do. Okay? You know, let it be. Alright? Let him not be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to follow Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. Alright? But let him glorify power on this behalf. For this time is come that judgment must begin at the house of power, and if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of power? So where, as Ezekiel 9:4 going downward states, he's going to begin at the sanctuary. He's going to begin at his house with the ancient men of Israel. So he judges us first. He's coming for his people. You correct your kids first before you correct the other child. You know? So he's correcting us first. We are the sons of power. So let's read that one more time. For this time is that judgment must begin at the house of power. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of power? Right? So think about, a 2/3, you know, he's an Israelite, but he's not obeying Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. He's not listening. So if our chastisement is we going through it, how much more Yahawah about to put him through it? It's like you couldn't take the easy way, which the easy way is a hard way still. But you couldn't take the hard way. Now you got to take the harder way, which is ICBM missiles, which is Jacob's trouble. You're feeling every piece of it. You're not being exempt from no judgment. You know, you're being tortured. You're going through that type of. You got jakes being thrown from airplanes, okay, into the Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean. ICE is moving that type of way. So you're feeling those type of effects because you don't care for the Most High at all. All right? You're seeking all these other different gods. A lot of the Northern Kingdom is what? Catholicism, man. They worship the Virgin Mary. Okay? Where does the scriptures ever say to worship Mary? All right? It's like, you just following behind precepts of men and you're not actually reading. I be getting to the point, I don't think our people can read. Can you read? Yeah. Can you read? Like, for real, man. But hey, verse 18. And if the righteous scarcely be saved, so we're barely making it. Yahawah Ratazah, we be those men. We're barely getting through. All right? In the nick of our chinny chin chin. You know what I'm saying? The nick of time. Okay? Barely being through. Okay? Because we got to go through tribulation as well. We got to go through hell. We got to go through this stuff. Now, a lot of this stuff that Esau is coming down with is for the 2/3. And we understand that. Because we're going to be sustained through it all. Wisdom and knowledge, right, shall be the stability of our time. So we're going to be taken care of through all these things. But hey, we you know, it's nothing for FEMA to come and kick open your door, okay, and rope you up and take you off, all right? But then again, it's nothing for Yahawah to come and save you. Faith may be tested. Faith is going to be tested all the way up until the end, you know, so you got to hold on to that. And you got to remember that Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi never stop working. He don't take no days off. So whenever you think he's not working, he's not dealing, he is dealing. He's working. He's cooking something up. All right? He allowed a spirit to jump on these individuals to come and take you off. He can allow the same spirit to jump on an individual and free you. All right? Hey, something you should always say is, let the will of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi be done. Whatever it is. Whatever his will is on my life, let it be done. You know, can't change that. Let it be done. Because it's no free will. Alright? Verse 18 again. And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore, let them that suffer according to the will of power commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing as unto a faithful creator. So commit, dedication, okay, loyalty, right? You're staying true in this thing ongoing. You're not folding at just the slightest offense. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shalom, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Barak, Ahtham. All right, to my brother down there in Atlanta. Okay, Hebrews 10 and 23. Let us hold fast, exactly, being steadfast and holding fast, the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. Right now, and keep in mind this too. While you're holding fast, those that follow you are holding fast because they see you holding fast. Okay, you're being a leader in some capacity, so you gotta hold fast and stay true to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi going through all of this. That's going to strengthen your woman. It's going to strengthen your kids. You know, yo, hey, you say, like, you know, your kids be like, man, I see the faith of my father. I know he believes. I know Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi been dealing with us. So I'm going to believe even more because I know, you know, you see the faith of another individual that would exhort you and lift you up. All right? Just hearing brothers' stories sometimes, like, dang, bro went through that. You know, that's wild. That's crazy. But Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi was with him through that and got him through that and took care of him through that. All right? So, hey, this is what? 2 Timothy 3 and 16, we got to get it. You know, because all this is for inspiration. Now, what is inspiration, man? Key word being inspired. All scripture is given by inspiration of power and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction, and righteousness. So these individuals were inspired. Right? Yahawah sent the Holy Spirit and he moved them to write these things. Right? And it's for what? It's profitable. Okay? So it benefits you for doctrine. That's understanding. That's wine. For reproof, to correct you, to get you right. Right? For correction, for instruction and righteousness. Okay? So, you know, the stories of old are there to let you know that what you're going through done happened before. Right? You know, don't trip. Right? Man, but nah, man, women ain't never did. Yay, look at what happened to Samson. Okay? Look what happened to King David. Okay? Brothers done went through many women problems. Nah, finances ain't never. Hey, look at Yahawashi ain't had no head to, no, he was, you know what I'm saying? He came as a slave. All right? You think ain't nobody been in Rome before? It all that happened before. You know? So, It's there to gut check you and to let you know, shit, what we going through ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? And we have a more sure word of prophecy. So we understand everything better and we fully know what's going on. We see the completion. Back then, Jeremiah and Ezra, they were shown the end, you know, but they didn't know what ICBM missiles were. All of that. They just saw arrows coming. They saw things of that nature. Right? We know and we see these things in production and we know how they're gonna be used. Right? So your faith should be higher than ever. Just seeing prophecies pop off the page, man. You know what I'm saying? My phone is on 5%. I didn't even know it was low like that. But I'm gonna pretty much end it right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Pray this was edifying. Alright. Bringing it back once again. Uncommon life is full of uncommon costs. Okay? So you're gonna have to go through many different things that your parents may have never went through, your uncles and all, and you know, you got a different life. Yahawah, you be of that elect. You know what I'm saying? You got a different lot. You got a different position. And we know, hey, the elect, the men, you know what I'm saying, you're going to bring back your family. Individuals in your family ain't want to get it. They're going to come back through your loins. They're going to come back through you as your kids. And that's one thing that they really can't get and comprehend, but that's the truth. Yahawah Yahawashi is not dealing with the whole family. He's dealing with one or two out of that family. Right? So with that being said, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone once again. And shalom to the Lord, to elect. As always, Kwam Yasha'Allah and Abad Babah. Shalom.